Peace, chiefs and dears. It's Bronzebird here with another video. Before I begin, like and subscribe. Thank you. So I was browsing around, and of course, every single time you get on social media, you find some gems, you find some stuff online that you particularly wasn't even looking for, but it comes up. And the thing about it is that I found this video, this new profound article, I guess, that came out a couple of days ago about a so-called trans man that is under fire for making comments about being attracted to minors. Now, I would say the P word, but I don't want anything to happen to my YouTube page, so I'm just going to keep it at that. But you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, how many times have I made videos, especially in the Vet Thy Children series, where I've covered these topics over and over again, in which I've covered the whole entire thing about how they're trying to push for liberalism to be spread on your children. And about the fact of the matter is that they're trying to defend the idea of being attracted to minors. Now, there was a video that I did way back in which I was giving along the whole entire thing about how they had a story, a folk tale, about how they had the story of this legend about how a man was sent to clean out rats in a particular city, and he would use a woodwind instrument to do it, and it would lure away the rats, but then at the same time, he was able to lure away the children and take the children away from the town. There's a video I did on that that's unlisted, but the point is that a lot of this stuff doesn't only just happens as a coincidence, right? A lot of this stuff is actually old. It's just that it's being reconfigured into society, and a lot of people don't know about it. And the thing about it is that it could come from a lot of these Greek mythologies that I could go over, but still taking time to learn. So I'm not going to really say too much on that. But the point of today's video is that you have someone who's obviously confused. I don't believe in the whole entire thing of based on your behavior or your feelings. And that's the problem with society now. A lot of people want to base their things on their feelings and behavior. They don't want to base it on logic, to the point that a lot of this whole entire thing of legalizing minor attraction, this is the stuff they're going to do. And the thing about it is, in this video, you're going to see a so-called trans man who's under fire at this point as a professor at Old Dominion University in Virginia talk about the reason why it's not wrong for them to be attracted to minors, okay? And I just want to make that very clear because this is in a college setting. Of course, it's different in a college setting because it's young adults. So, professors could date their students or whatever, and this, that, and the third. I mean, there's a difference, but, you're not going to be under fire for dating someone inside the school, even if they don't have the same class as you. But dating, not even dating, but even having some type of, and this is where it's a smoke screen, because what they're trying to do is protect the idea of them being attracted to a minor. They just want to keep it very introverted. They don't want to say that it's extroverted. They say, hey, look, listen, I could be attracted to children, but I don't want to say it. Or I'm not going to do anything about it, because now if they actually do it, they obviously know that there's going to be a lot of pushback from the parents themselves, and they would be ridiculed for doing that, okay? And obviously the child is going to be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, get away from me. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about how this confused individual is sitting there making these points about this new book that she came out with. I'm sorry. See how I'm getting tongue twisted and all this stuff is happening? Check this out. Fair use.
Hello, I'm your host, Noah Berlatsky, and welcome to another edition of Prestasia Conversations. This month, we're talking to Allyn Walker. Allyn is an assistant professor at Old Dominion University in the Department of Sociology and Criminal Justice. They earned their master's in social work at Columbia University and their PhD in criminal justice at John Jay College.
I must say, Columbia University, specifically John Jay College, are big liberal schools in New York. So it already makes sense to me where this is going to go. And the way that they move anyway, it's going to make sense to me.
Graduate Center in the City University of New York. Their research focuses on institutional harms, especially those created by our criminal processing, immigration, detention, and mental health care systems. So, and specifically, we're talking about Allyn's book, A Long Dark Shadow, Minor Attracted Persons and Their Pursuit of Dignity. So the book is a study of non-offending minor attracted persons, a group that hasn't been discussed a lot either in the academy or in popular culture. So it's a difficult and important subject, and we're thrilled to have Allyn with us today to talk about it. Thank you for being here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks so much.
So my first question was, even the title of your book is pretty controversial, right? Because the subtitle is Minor Attracted Persons and Their Pursuit of Dignity. And many people are concerned that the designation of minor attracted persons or MAPS suggests that it's okay.
Now, the thing about it is, and this is just boggling my mind for a little bit, the fact of the matter that this individual uses the term MAPS. And this also is a term that is used within the dark world of the upper echelons of society, where they're using MAPS as a way to refer to sexual acts with children within the whole entire investigation that happened within 2016, 2017 with the WikiLeaks files of the emails that came from, dare I say it, Clinton. Okay, these two, look, it's weird to hear this whole entire thing because there's connection to the two, because it still involves minors. So I just want to put that within the whole entire realm of this conversation, because I do find it a little bit weird that this individual is using that term MAPS, but they're describing minor attraction persons.
To be attracted to children, or they're worried that the term suggests that pedophilia is a sexual orientation, which they worry is a slander on LGBT people. So could you talk about why you used that term in the title and throughout the book?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for that question. I use the term minor attracted person or MAP in the title and throughout the book for multiple reasons. First of all, because
you can probably be a Luciferian.
I think it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that group want others to use for them. And MAP advocacy groups like Before You Act have advocated for use of the term MAP. They've advocated for it primarily because it's less stigmatizing than other terms like pedophile. A lot of people, when they hear the term pedophile, they automatically assume that it means a sex offender. And that isn't true, and it leads to a lot of misconceptions about attractions toward minors. I've definitely heard...
Now, probably on a separate page, I'll probably break down exactly the origin of the P word. I'm not going to do it here, but I definitely will make sure to, break down that term and also break down the whole entire thing about MAPS. Because it's just, like I said, this is a coincidence. If you look at the WikiLeaks files and the investigations that happened within 2000, I believe, 17, that same term was used in that email to describe a particular action towards minors.
The idea that you brought up, though, that the use of the term minor attracted person suggests that it's okay to be attracted to children.
And this is an L that the LGBTQ community has to take if they're sitting up there talking about they're trying to differentiate themselves from those persons, because all of the liberalisms and all of those different terms and all this other stuff is going completely to their group. Because if people, and this is not about me bashing the LGBTQ community, this is just calling it for what it is. The thing about the LGBTQ community is nothing more but a smokescreen to allow the whole entire contrarian type of tactics about who to be attracted to into the light. That's all it is. I mean, we could start off with being a so-called gay person, a lesbian, a transsexual, and this, that, and the third, but it's all about letting all of those dark, shadowed attractions that is out of the norm between two, male and female, out into the open. So now it starts to become all this realms about feelings and what the spirit says and all these different things, okay? And the fact of the matter that people can be involved, some type of demonic energy into it. But a lot of people won't even understand that, because I mean, goddamn it, if they're going to sit up there and say gender is a spectrum, then you obviously know that any day and any time of the week and any hour, they could just announce a new gender and that's what it is, which is completely contradictory from the first opening of what it's supposed to be. Now, I can understand gay. I can understand lesbians. The other things I just can't really understand. I just can't. Psychologically, I can't understand it.
But using a term that communicates who someone is attracted to doesn't indicate anything about the morality of that attraction. From my perspective, there is no morality or immorality attached to attraction to anyone because no one can control who they're attracted to at all. In other words, it's not who we're attracted to that's either okay or not okay. It's our behaviors in responding to that attraction that are either okay or not okay.
And this is the bullshit that a lot of these liberals, especially this confused individual, starts to say. They always want to talk about you can't help who you're attracted to. Yes, you can. I mean, if you like someone, you like someone. That's true. You can like someone for whatever reason, but at the same time, you can instantly be turned off by them if they do a certain action, or they say something they don't like, or they reject you. I mean, I don't like I love it when so many people try to remix things and they try to say, oh no, that's not true, and blah blah blah, and this, that, and third. You can't help who you're attracted to. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can turn on the attraction, or you can turn off the attraction. Don't go along with this BS.
And I want to be extremely clear that child sexual abuse is never, ever okay. But having an attraction to minors, as long as it isn't acted on, doesn't mean that the person who has those attractions is doing something wrong. I think we have a tendency to want to categorize people with these attractions as evil, as evil or morally corrupt. But when we're talking about non-offending MAPs, these are people who have an attraction that they didn't ask for, and one that is frequently they would.
That would mean that they have a mental illness. That I don't believe in what this person is saying at all. Like I said, this is the problem with a lot of individuals who are confused. They try to remix the exact points and try to make it seem as if like what they're saying or what they're doing is not wrong because it's a certain boundary and threshold that they only like to go to, because they know if they go beyond that threshold, they will be ridiculed and that they will be legally on the offense of being jailed for their actions.
Would give anything to change, but they find that they're unable to change those attractions. And most importantly, the people in my study did not act on them. Something else you brought up was the idea that using the term MAP could suggest that attractions to minors are a type of sexual orientation. Whether or not attractions to minors are a type of sexual orientation is not a question that can be answered with my particular research. My research touched upon the labels that MAPs use to describe themselves, though, and a lot of them have been really conscious about their choice of language because they don't want to slander, as you put it, lesbian, gay, and bisexual people. So
also, they don't want to get their asses put in jail.
They'll use language to kind of distance themselves from LGB folks, which I talk about more in my book and in other articles that I've written. There's a lot that could be said about whether attractions to minors are in themselves a sexual orientation, and there's research that I cite in my book about that. But to me, that misses a larger and more important difference, which again is about attraction versus behavior. If we did consider MAPs to have their own distinct type of sexual orientation, there would still be a huge difference between MAPs and lesbian, gay, and bisexual people. And that difference is that MAPs have a sexual attraction that would result in a lot of harm if they acted on it. Whereas for LGB folks, there's no harm in having consensual relationships with one another. So that's where the distinction lies. Again, it's really in that difference between attraction and behavior. And non-offending MAPs, by definition, do not abuse children, so their behaviors are moral.
Well, the thing about it is, and I really feel bad for saying this, but this is what it is. I mean, obviously, you still have the whole entire thing that happens with sex trafficking. You have the whole entire thing with a lot of these like cases of ours happening amongst children, and the whole entire thing of molesting children at a young age so much that they become psychologically confused as they grow up. There's a lot of things that, you know, happens, but again, like, I mean, the whole entire thing with this is that what happens in these type of scenarios is that these so-called MAPs, as this confused individual keeps talking about, they just say, oh, I like children, but I would never, ever, ever try to have a relationship with a child or try to, basically talk to children in a sexual manner or for the hopes of getting to know them on a sexual level. That's the thing that they're trying to describe here. But like I said, my whole entire thing is they swindle it around the LGBTQ community, because the LGBTQ community isn't just about same gender attraction. It's about letting all the luciferic and all the demonic entities about attraction or being sexually fluid out into the Wingate. You understand? Or to just out into the world in general. It's just the start is lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and all this other stuff. That's the start of it. But it's supposed to be exposed into other categories. Because mainly if you understand it, it's just to veer off the normal sexual attraction between man and woman or male and female. That's all it mainly is. And, a lot of people may not like me for saying that, but I mean, look, it is what it is. This is the reason why it was a whole problem, I believe, in like the 2 years ago before the pandemic started, where they was having a whole entire meltdown where even people within the LGBTQ community was having problems with these so-called maps being involved in their community. They didn't even want that to happen. But the upper echelons of society knows exactly the games that they're playing and knows exactly how it's supposed to go down.
But they're still being subjected to this same idea that they're bad people, and they've often internalized that for themselves. So that's why I've used this subtitle, Minor Attracted People. And
yeah, there was a video before I finish this off, and I only wanted to play up to this part basically. There was a video that came out a couple of years ago with an interview of a so-called white man that was a so-called map. Of course, he didn't say that he was a map. There was a different term that was being used, and he had the whole entire story of how he's afraid to sit up there and tell people that he's attracted to children because of the fact of the matter, he would be ridiculed and they would look at him funny because he is, right? And this is something I also have to say to parents out there. I do these Vet Thy Children series so that y'all can understand the type of environment that y'all are in. Okay, the fact of the matter is that y'all have to look over your children, especially when they get to the tender ages between 10 to 14. And why do I say 10 to 14? Because that's when they're really, really exposed to this social media stuff. And I would say 10 is the earliest age. 14 is just damn near teenage exposure anyway. But the thing about it is a lot of this programming that goes on, allowing your children to go on TikTok. And, the problem is that they have all these social media sites where they put in these type of sexual-esque activities on TikTok. And children do it unintentionally, following around with it because they don't see any harm in it. But we have an understanding like apps like TikTok and the rest of it is just a smokescreen for those type of people to go on there and, look at it and all this other stuff and maybe even try to spam your child's profile or try to say something to your child. It's just one theory I have. Maybe I might be wrong, but it's just one of those type of things that I like to put out in the open for people to understand. But that's basically it on that. I'm going to show you the article now where this individual has actually been under scrutiny by the university they're from. And yeah, man, this is the whole entire thing. So let's read it. Shout out to the Gazette. Associate professor at a Virginia university said adult sexual attraction towards minor isn't moral. Video of Allyn Walker, an assistant professor of sociology and criminal justice at Old Dominion University, argued that there is no morality or immorality attached to attraction to anyone while discussing pedophiles or minor attracted persons in an online conversation Monday. And obviously you watched the video just like I watched the video, so we don't have to go over that. Now, Walker recently published a book titled A Long Dark Shadow, Minor Attracted People and Their Pursuit of Dignity, that takes readers into the lives of non-offending minor attracted persons, MAPS, according to the book's Amazon page. Walker made the comments during an online discussion with the San Francisco-based Prostasia Foundation. And I did another video about a situation that happened about these LGBTQ members sitting up there talking about we'll convert your children. Y'all remember that video, okay? Which describes itself as a new kind of child protection organization. Clips of Walker's conversation published on Twitter by @libs of TikTok accumulated over 750,000 views by Friday afternoon. We have a tendency to want to categorize people with these kinds of attractions as evil or morally corrupt, Walker said. But when we're talking about non-offending maps, these are people who have an attraction they didn't ask for. The ODU professor said the research could not answer whether minor attracted persons could be established as a specific sexual attraction. My research, well, again, we've already watched this video, so we don't have to read the quotes. But I just wanted to share that to you guys because what you can really expect now on, why I make these videos, a lot of the times they're trying to push along this whole entire idea that it's okay for exposed children to be attracted to adults too. This is something that this is something I meant to say as well. They're trying to push that. And also, you know, we have more of these books coming out, a lot of this, like, you know, luciferic things that they're putting out into the gate so that your child can pick up on it and be normalized on it. So if we do have a society in the next 40 to 50 years, it's not going to seem taboo because it's already allowed in society. Sexual fluidity, all of this stuff out here that they want to say that, you know, the whole entire do without will concept. As long as you're not hurting anybody or causing any intentional harm. You understand? So otherwise than that, peace.